Hello friends, welcome into NFL Daily here on Chat Sports, presented by BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. I am your host, Tom Downey, back with another head coaching candidate list. This time, we're taking a look at the Denver Broncos because it seems like the Vance Joseph era is going to end, probably not mid-season, but at the end of the year once the Broncos end their regular season. Now, the report from Pro Football Talk is that the Denver Broncos are going to fire Vance Joseph once the season is over. And that's not a huge surprise, right? It was very much a playoffs or bust mentality this year for Vance Joseph. I'll give him credit. The players fought for him. They could have quit several weeks ago, about a month and a half ago. They won a couple of big games, but then things quickly fell apart. Back-to-back games they've lost now against teams they probably should have beaten. And Denver is now one loss away from back-to-back losing seasons for the first time since the 1970s, the early 1970s. So for Denver, that's not going to cut it. I think you'll see Vance Joseph get fired. Now, we'll break down 10 different candidates, but one thing I want to note here, teams often go in the opposite direction. Vance Joseph was a defensive mind and was a first-time head coach. Don't be surprised if offense and/or head coaching experience ranks near the top of the Denver Broncos as they go through their head coaching search. So we'll take you through 10 coaches to watch for, and we'll update as the offseason goes on with any new names. Number 10, Chuck Pagano, which I really wouldn't like all that much, but I've heard some more growing buzz as of late that maybe he'd get another chance. He is a native of Boulder, Colorado. I'll make note of that one as well. The other thing I do want to make note of is that it's fair to blame, I think, quite a bit of the Colts issues on Ryan Grigson, right? Because he wasn't a good GM, disastrous drafting tenure there. 53-43 in 6 years as the Colts head coach. Granted, the first year was not really he was coaching because of his cancer issue, which I'm glad to say he was able to beat there. I wouldn't like the Chuck Pagano hire, but the buzz has been growing around him, which makes him number 10 on our list. All right, number 9, this one is a dark horse candidate. How about Adam Gase, the former Denver Broncos coach there? All right, he was the assistant from 2009 to 2014, made the jump to the Miami Dolphins, and now there's growing buzz that the Dolphins could fire Adam Gase, which I would find interesting. I knew he was on the hot seat entering the year, but he's done a good job with the Dolphins team that I didn't think was going to be very good. But Miami is open to all kinds of changes. If Adam Gase gets fired, I will not be surprised if the Denver Broncos do make a push for him because he knows the system a little bit, and he just fit that mold, by the way, of being a former head coach, which I think the Denver Broncos very much want. So we'll see what happens on that one. All right, folks, I am playing Santa Tom this holiday season. I'm hooking you up. Do you want an NFL jersey? Here's how you can get one. Use promo code LIVE120 at chatsports.com/bet. Then DM us on Twitter at chatsports. Once you guys sign up and deposit, we'll get you guys hooked up with an NFL jersey. All kinds of ones available, but since we are almost at the Christmas time here, we are running very low, so get in while you still can. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code LIVE120. Then DM us on Twitter at chatsports. We'll get you guys hooked up. All right, number 8 on our list, another kind of dark horse guy, Mike Shanahan. Now, remember, there was the report earlier last week that John Elway met with Shanahan last year, had interest in bringing him in and Kirk Cousins as the head coach quarterback duo. And then there was the conflicting report of if it was CEO Joe Ellis who shot it down or if he wanted a full, true coaching search. In the end, the Broncos stuck with Joseph for one more year. Didn't really work out in the end. And there are conflicting reports on if Shanahan will be a candidate this time around for the Denver Broncos. Now, as we saw in the coaching ranks, it was very much the year of the retread, and maybe that could be something similar in the NFL. Shanahan, I'm intrigued by the option. Now, the reality is the past 5 years have not gone very well for Mike Shanahan. 3-13 and a disastrous last year amid injuries. 10-6, 8-8, the lack of playoff wins are a big concern there as of late. But if you're the Broncos, knowing it's not a great crop of coordinators ready to take the next step, and you really do want a coach with experience, maybe reuniting Shanahan and Elway isn't the worst idea in the world. So I'll ask you, should Mike Shanahan be an NFL head coach again? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'm open to it. Of all the places that make sense, I think Denver is the most obvious choice. All right, number 7, Matt LaFleur. I just want to make note here that I've seen a lot of buzz around Matt LaFleur, and I get it. He comes from the McVay and Shanahan coaching tree. You're looking for young offensive minds. He fits that mold. This is a very risky hire because the Titans' offense, guys, hasn't been that good. It's been below average. In fact, it's been 27th in points per game and yards per game this year. That's not that good. And I know that LaFleur has the background in terms of a coaching tree that you want, and I've seen him mentioned quite a few times around this Denver job. I kind of think that everyone just assumes Matt LaFleur is a good offensive coordinator, even though the numbers don't really back it up. Now, I still like him, but I think he needs more time as an OC before he takes that next step forward as an NFL head coach. All right, number 6, here's a name to watch out for, Dan Campbell. Now, he's not an OC. He is a tight ends coach and an assistant head coach, so he's got the leadership type background that you want overall. He interviewed for the coach job last year, and he fits that mold of, hey, he's got head coaching experience. Granted, it was an interim role, but did a decent enough job as the former Dolphins interim head coach. And you could throw in a Pete Carmichael here as well, but Campbell, he's not the offensive savant that maybe you'd hope for if you're really trying to find that next true Sean McVay, which, newsflash, guys, you're probably not going to find. But he does fit the Bill Parcells type of mold there and does have that former head coaching experience. Don't be surprised if he gets some interviews this year. All right, folks, if you don't know what to add to your holiday wish list, how about a Mizzen and Main shirt? Comfortable.af is the site. Go check them out. I am wearing a Mizzen and Main shirt right now. These are the best damn dress shirts out there. Comfortable.af. You guys are not going to find a more comfortable shirt, dress or otherwise, than a Mizzen and Main one. All right, number 5 now. Here's a name to watch out for that I like quite a bit, Dave Toub. Now, remember back when they first hired Vance Joseph, they also interviewed him for the open head coaching experience. Now, maybe they should have hired him at the time. The big knock on Dave here is that, well, he's a special teams coach, right? And special teams coaches typically don't get hired as head coaches. The last one really was John Harbaugh, and even he had some defensive backs coaching experience at the time as well. So Toub, I think, is going to get interviews again this year. I was kind of surprised he didn't get hired last time around, but he's long been among the best special teams coaches in the game. I think he'd be a good fit for Denver, and having interviewed him last year, I think that makes sense. All right, number 4, Eric Bieniemy, who I've also seen mentioned quite a few times around this Denver Broncos job, but I don't think he makes the most sense. Now, yeah, you get the added bonus of hurting the Chiefs with the hire because that's always a good thing there for Denver, hurt an AFC West rival. And the Andy Reid coaching tree, yes, does have quite a bit of impressive success the past couple of really hires. Doug Peterson, Matt Nagy have all done good jobs so far. But remember, Eric Bieniemy is in his first year as a Chiefs OC, and by the way, doesn't call the plays. I think it might make more sense for a team like the Cincinnati Bengals. In theory, I think Denver will look elsewhere. I don't know if they want to go with the inexperienced coordinator who hasn't been a head coach before. It just seems a little bit too much like maybe Eric Bieniemy is the offensive version of Vance Joseph. That could scare off the Denver Broncos. To be fair, though, I like Bieniemy, and I also like the Vance Joseph hire. Oops. All right, number 3, the name everybody wants, Lincoln Riley, a fantastic college head coach. And here's the problem, though. He's a really great college coach at a really good job. Is he really going to leave? And for Denver overall, weird to say this out loud, compare it to the Browns job. Wouldn't you rather have the Cleveland job? You have your coach in place, you got a lot more young talent, and you're not battling with the question of who your quarterback's going to be. So I don't know if Lincoln Riley is even going to jump to the NFL. If he does, I don't think it's going to be for the Denver Broncos job. So I'm typing in, at some point, sure, I think you'll see Lincoln Riley in the NFL. I don't think it's going to be this year. And by the way, for anyone who has thrown this out there, because I've seen it quite a few times, no, he's not taking an NFL OC job. I saw some Denver fans say, hey, we could just throw money at Riley to be our OC. That is never going to happen. Frankly, the Oklahoma job, probably just as good as a bunch of NFL jobs, if not better. So Lincoln Riley is the guy everyone wants. I don't see him jumping, though, to Denver, but you got to be sure he's going to be high of their head coaching, near the top of their head coaching candidate list. All right, number 2, maybe a more gettable college coach that also has a lot of fans in the NFL coaching circles and NFL GM circles, Matt Campbell. Now, don't let the 19-18 record fool you at Iowa State. He was 3-9 in year 1, and winning at Iowa State is tough. That is not an easy thing to do. He is very well regarded by the NFL and some top-tier college programs. Now, he did sign an extension, and that's worth mentioning. It was a 1-year extension through 2024, but I'll make note. Number 1, money's not a problem for NFL teams. They can throw money whatever they want. And by the way, that was an extension that did not feature a pay raise for Matt Campbell. His assistants got more money, But if an NFL team comes calling and Matt Campbell wants the job, the extension is not going to get in the way of it. An NFL team will gladly pony up. Iowa State will say, darn it, we lost our great coach, but it's okay because, he's going to the NFL. We get that. Iowa State job, not as good as the NFL job. If Denver wants a coach with experience and hasn't flamed out in the NFL, I'd say Matt Campbell's a really, really good fit, but we'll see what happens there. Don't have a great feel quite yet for the John Elway coaching search after last one. Didn't go too well. And then number 1, how about Mike McCarthy, I'm sure controversial potential hire because things did not go well down the stretch for the Green Bay Packers. But in many ways, he is the opposite of Vance Joseph. And again, we often see teams do that type of hire. Vance Joseph, a young, inexperienced defensive mind with no head coaching experience, didn't work out. Mike McCarthy, after all, did win a Super Bowl. Granted, he did have Aaron Rodgers, and I know McCarthy wanted more credit for the success that Aaron Rodgers became, but he was successful in Green Bay. It's the opposite of Vance Joseph. Offensive mind with plenty of head coaching experience. Yeah, things did not end well, but I think Mike McCarthy does make sense for the Denver Broncos. One note here, by the way, number 1 was going to be John Harbaugh. Then the Ravens announced they're going to work on an extension, so I took him off the list. If John Harbaugh actually does become available, I think Denver is the most likely landing spot for him, but as of right now, that doesn't seem all that likely. All right, to recap my top 10 Broncos head coaching candidates. Number 10, Chuck Pagano. Number 9, Adam Gase. If he gets fired, he's going to move way up this list. Number 8, Mike Shanahan. Don't know if that's where they're going to go, but it's been rumored. Matt LaFleur, Dan Campbell. I'm not in love with those guys. Eric Bieniemy. If they want less experience, those make sense there. Dave Toub, I think at some point deserves a head coaching job, but special teams guys never get the chance. Lincoln Riley, Matt Campbell, the young college coach. I don't think Lincoln leaves, but he's going to be at the top of Denver's list. I like Matt Campbell. Mike McCarthy also makes sense as the really truly opposite of Vance Joseph. So who should the Broncos hire as their next head coach? Let me know in the comments section. If they really want to go the head coaching experience route, watch out for other names like Gus Bradley, Jim Schwartz, Jim Caldwell, Jack Del Rio, which aren't great and they didn't make the list. Vic Fangio I also thought to mention there. David Shaw, I doubt he leaves. Zach Taylor, I think makes more sense for a team like the Jets. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section.